Hello, everybody. Hello, the Game Today family. Welcome back to the Game Today podcast. I am your host, Claret. He is my co host, Malcolm Weire, and we're here to talk about some really, really important, some really, really fiery. And, the NBA season is underway. And, Malcolm, are you able to hear me well? Or do you hear any
So,
echoes?
Roger that I can hear you properly.
No echoes, nothing?
Yeah, not the echoes.
Okay.
The
Yeah, just making sure because sometimes it does the yeah, but anyways,
Roger that I can hear you properly.
great. Yeah. So Malcolm, talk to me. The NBA has
Yeah, not the echoes.
preseason is underway, and I wanna know what is the feeling? What is up in the air? What do you feel? If you have to
Yeah. So yeah, the precision has been in the way. It's been nice. But as you know me, of course, I even if I'm free, there's no way in hell I'm watching preseason games. I am finna spend 2.5 hours watching a game that has no jeopardy. But in terms of what I've seen from media and like highlights and reels and whatever's been going on in the preseason, it seems fine. I'm actually Lakers is playing Warriors tomorrow, which is actually today night. I'm on a friendly game. I'm sure to talk about that later. But in terms of other preseason games, I've been seeing Dalton Connect play well. I saw also Dalton giving teams of play yesterday against his former team, and New York Knicks, and they was like, why do you trade away? But this is what happens when you let someone cook or play well. But bro, there are echoes.
I think now they're gone. I think now that's why I was asking you. What did you hear echoes anyway?
I do. Okay. Yeah.
I
I'll
think
say
now that
yeah.
should be okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, but yeah, it sounds like it's been a big deal. It's been fun. The good thing about precision is that the bench players play most of the minutes and like the starting players don't get injured. But apparently Embiid is injured as well. Like I'm seeing, I'm getting like a lot of updates as well. Not watching obviously, but getting a lot of updates, and it seems like it's been good so far for every team, and every team looks hyped up. Every team has expectations, and we'll talk about that. But every team looks like they are good for now, and they are willing to start the season in fresh spirits. But yeah, it's looked amazing. How do you think? What do you think about it?
No, man, I can't wait. I can't wait for the actual preseason, I mean, regular season to begin because,
Next Tuesday, let's go.
man, it's like literally I've been trying to gather up shows and all the kind of stuff to watch. But like, man, it's not NBA, it's not basketball, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
it's really incredible that it is back. I am excited, especially given how much the game is grown in terms of
yeah,
shooting and talent. It's incredible to watch. So I can't wait. I can't wait. The West, the East, they're all stacked. You don't have a feeling of who's gonna have the success. Last year we had like about I don't know how many teams, about 500. Like things that have never been done in history are happening right now, right? So it's
yeah.
really
And
incredible that I'm going to witness this. Yeah.
Celtics will be looking to repeat, and
Ooh,
nothing was repeated before since 2017. So that shows how much NBA has been since 2018. That shows how much NBA has been like diverse since then. Yeah, that's crazy. No team has repeated yet. That's mad.
I
So
mean,
some
I
might
think
argue it's the most
from the
three teams.
Warriors.
The most because we know that this year there will be another winner. And we know that this year it will be like Lakers or something. But yeah, that's hypothetically. I don't think Lakers will win the championship, bro. But in terms of competitiveness, it seems like NBA is actually among this like a sport whereby you don't know who will win. But
Yeah.
until it gets like to the very end of the playoffs, but it sounds fun. Every team looks good. The problem about NBA is injuries. Like every player gets injured, like for fun. Like that's a problem. Like
Yeah,
players get injured.
it's crazy because of how, sometimes you play back to back, sometimes it's one day off, and like there is 82 games in a season.
Yeah,
It's incredibly too much,
it's a lot of games. It's a lot of games, and I don't know why. It's very easy to solve 82 games. Especially when you're just playing for a CD. Why don't you just play 50 games? Always. I
I
mean,
mean, it's
NFL again. NFL. NFL plays 17 games. Actually, 16 because they have a bye week. A bye week is a week where you don't play. They play 16 games just for the seeding of the playoffs. 16. Why are
yeah,
we playing two games?
but
Like, for what?
but think about the teams in the NFL and how many teams we have in the NBA. It's totally different.
Actually, you're wrong. NFL has 32 teams, 16 teams per conference,
Yeah,
16 NBA has 15.
but I don't mean like teams, right? I mean like when it comes to like doing the whole seeding thing because I'm not really familiar with it. It's
Yeah, but
different from the NBA.
no, the only difference is that NFL is playoffs are one is like a knockout, then, but NBA playoffs are what a postseason is what is series. That's the only difference. But NFL also they do like 2 versus 7, 3 versus 4, 5 versus 4 versus 6, like that. That's how they do their thing as well. Most sports, especially American sports, like that's how they judge their things. So
Yeah,
it's not a big difference.
but at the same time, man, look, we need the 82 games, all of them. You need to
Nah, bro,
dial
we
into
need
the year, you
see.
know.
You're talking about injuries because a lot of games like every day or every other day, like every 2 days. Bro, they have like 7 months to relax at home from May up to November. Like like they spend more time at home than in a game. So there should be an excuse. I didn't know how much
No,
money they're
but
earning.
that's the point, you know.
They're earning an average of like $20 million per year, bro. So I would play every hour for that money. So they should not complain. They should not complain, bro. They should not.
Oh man, nah, it's a lot of things that leads to an NBA player when you
Yeah,
include media and training and all that. But let's cut to the deal, right? Let's cut to the real things, right? So you've got all NBA, you've got the defending champs in the Boston Celtics and the second defending champs in the Mavs who lost in the finals, right? Do you think we might have to see these two teams again in the finals, or given how much the other teams look, you have started ruling out some of the? I mean, you have started ruling out either the Mavs or the Celtics.
yeah. See, the thing about the NBA, what makes it like interesting as well, and why I enjoy like many sports because of their own interesting parts, is that you can argue that this team will be better, this team will be better, this team will be better. Like I can start now and end up finishing with at least 8 from the Western Conference and at least 5 from the Eastern Conference. But that's why I say to judge the NBA, or like which team will actually win like the championship, you need to judge like the match before the playoffs, because now you know that San Antonio is going to get better. Oklahoma is going to get better with the
Yeah,
pieces with Alex Caruso. Teams are going to get better. It's just about who is going to get over the line and who's going to be more consistent over the season. Because the thing about NBA is that you cannot win all your games. You have to lose at least
yeah.
20 games. So it's who has better like adversity when they lose those 20 games that judges their season. So that's a good thing. Yeah, about the Mavs, yeah, the Mavs are a good team, but I think they are worse because they have Clay Thompson who will not make shots in money terms to clutch time. But they were good, they were very good before. But these Mavs now, hell no. But the Celtics, as I say, the Celtics, no one is going to pass. If I'm ranking teams and all power rankings, no one is going to pass them until they actually beat the Celtics, and that's how it works. Like you have to beat them to be ranked over them. You can make noise, you make this making noise in the east, making noise in the west, but as long as if you don't beat them if you don't, the team that beats them is the one that will be overpowered them. So until then, the Celtics will be number one ranked for me, even if they lose the next 20, 30 games in a row. I don't care, which is impossible, but still. But in terms of the East, we know that it's going to get interesting with Jimmy Butler back, Adebayo
Yeah,
as well in Miami. There are too many injuries, especially in the East. Joel Embiid injured again. I don't know, man, what's happening to that guy.
which is absolutely essential.
That
No,
guy, bro. Anyways, you know that KP is injured, but he will come back by January, February, so shouldn't be a big deal for Celtics, especially if they sign another center or power forward. But yeah, we know that Uncle Old Al Horford will be there to carry the Celtics. Even when there's no KP, but I hope the East is more interesting because I know the West will be interesting. I mean, if you statistically last year other NBA games apart from Laker games I watched before the postseason, obviously, because I was watching a lot of playoff games. But before playoff games, like 98% of them are in the Western Conference games. Like 2% were like Eastern Conference games, and those 2%, if they're not Knicks games or Knicks or Pacers,
Yeah.
I wasn't watching, or like Bucks. I wasn't watching any. So like that's how bad it is. So, so like I hope this year it can actually be interesting in terms of the action instead of the words. You
Yeah.
feel me?
But let me go through something, right? I know it's preseason. I know we don't stress about these things, right? It's just preseason. But in a way, it gives you an idea of what's to come,
Yeah,
depending on what teams are. So I'm gonna go through the preseason standings right now, and I want you to be brief about this. You know, you tell me about a team. I tell you the team where it is right now, and you tell me what you think, and just their current way. And for example, you can tell me, okay, Boston Celtics is literally gonna win another Chiefs, given how much they didn't change, right? So in the Eastern Conference, yeah, in the Eastern Conference, that is usually not stacked. It's here and there, couple teams. It's different from the West, but Boston is at number one with
yeah,
4 wins, 0 losses in the preseason. So it is undefeated. What do you think about Boston, my friend?
yeah. As I said, Boston. Boston has the good thing about Boston is that its depth is very good. Like I know in the NBA you have to have very good depth, um, but not on like there are three big players like don't have to play very well to win a game. We saw that a lot with Tatum, who didn't have a very good season, especially after February, but still other people are carrying him. These 3 point shooters that Celtics has as well. So I think, I mean, clearly, as you see from that's the thing, the numbers don't lie. So being 4 in the preseason doesn't it's not an arbitrary digit. It's not an anomaly because like Boston is good. They have depth and Boston is fine. Like these guys are fine. Like for me, like at this
Yeah,
point, I'm
in
only
the
just
East.
what they do in the postseason. At this point, it's postseason because from now until May, like they are fine. They're fine for me. They're fine. So these guys are gonna be fine. They have
So,
the
so, so you just talked that the Boston Celtics are fine. So I'm gonna read you three, I think five more teams that I need you to compare and tell me whether you think it's actually making better the Eastern Conference. So you've got the New York Knicks, you've got the Philadelphia Sixers, you've got
Bucks.
Miami Heat that we never sleep on, you've got Milwaukee Bucks, Indiana Pacers, and you've got Orlando Magic and Cleveland Cavaliers. Forgetting the rest of the teams, do you think with these teams, do you think we'll have a more stacked Eastern Conference more than ever? Because given how they performed last year, right,
Yeah.
it really makes it look like with the additions to different teams, do you think we'll have a more stacked Eastern Conference than we usually do?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think so. I don't just think so. We should. Because if it's less stacked than last year, then bro, we're gonna stop watching Eastern Conference. Because
But you're right. You're right because
yeah,
New York Knicks made additions.
yeah,
Philadelphia did.
it's
A little
better.
bit of Miami. Milwaukee
Yeah,
Bucks with them. Indiana
yeah, yeah.
Pacers still a little
You
bit.
know,
And
yeah, I hope Milwaukee can play well. I hope Dame now will have like a full year experience instead of him being new anymore. I hope Chris Middleton can stay healthy, Bobby Portis can stay healthy, all these guys. Obviously, you cannot be healthy for the whole 82 games. But I mean by healthy, I mean like you're playing at least 50 games, especially after January or February. But yeah, it has to. These teams are gonna get better. New York Knicks are obviously gonna be better. They are. Well, this guy is New York Knicks. It's just good. Like whether they lose like the five starters of the team, they'll still play well. The fans are always behind their back. So they will be fine. I just hope Pacers can keep up what they had, and then they didn't run out of steam. I'm worried about the Pacers. But no one could see them come. But
Pascal.
yeah, no one saw them beating the Knicks, especially when the Knicks won like when Knicks were up 2-0, and then they still went to Game 7 in Madison Square Garden, and no one saw the Pacers winning. But I hope the Pacers can keep up that momentum this year as well. Miami, I know they'll be better, but Jim is not going to be healthy for the whole year, so that's like an NBA thing. So As I said, I hope they be fine, especially after February, like the business end of the year. Miami especially. With Terry Rozier coming back and every other
Yeah.
person who plays well for Miami coming back, and the Bucks, as
Very
I said.
important.
So yeah, and a big part of about teams in especially in the East is the health. You saw how like the Boston dominated. I mean, even if people use that as an excuse that the Eastern Conference was too easy last year, and that's why Boston reached the finals. I like Boston was good last year. That even if like Cleveland had like Jarrett Allen or Evan Mobley, like they were still gonna beat Cleveland. I mean, you talked
Yep.
about like Cleveland as well. They're a good team, solid, especially that they've kept their pieces. I don't think they've sold any of their big players yet. I don't think Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell has left yet. So um as long as you have these players, you always have wins or W's in the back of your pocket. So they are good. They are a good team. But this whole point of Boston because of like Eastern Conference injuries, would it be more competitive? Certainly, yes. Um,
Mm.
especially if the injuries are lesser compared to last year in the Eastern Conference. But you give me a matchup of Boston versus Miami, especially in a series. As I said, that's why I don't like series because you can lose. You can lose games on.
I like it.
You give me a matchup 1v1. Hell, I can even predict that Orlando can beat Boston. Why not? With Paulo Banquero and Franz Wagner. So definitely, but give me a series, bro. Boston, uh, according to last year, obviously, based on last year, no one is beating them. But I hope these guys can stay healthy, and it certainly looks it will be more interesting. I mean, Eastern Conference got a bit interesting because
Really.
um from around after All Star break, but from the second spot up to like the eighth spot after All Star break. Obviously, Boston had already like had like a plus or minus like goal. I mean, win percentage of like more than 20 wins by then. So no one really cared about them. So, but it became a bit interesting. There was a time Cleveland was number two. Then there was a time they dropped, and then there was time also Jimmy Butler came back for some games, and then Miami had made it into postseason, into the play-in tournament. So I hope it's like that from the beginning. But the good, but before I move on to my next point, I like the fact that they send in season tournaments because these are some regular season games that have some jeopardy with them.
Yeah.
Because hell, if there was no like, if that was a very good idea, it was a superb idea. But we shall talk about that later on during the season. When the game start, about the whole argument last year of there not being a point differential or like a win terms of like who a tiebreaker thing, and what they should do about it. But it was a successful tournament, not just because Lakers won it, but like from a basketball fan perspective, it creates like jeopardy like for the players to compete because I imagine like bro, if I'm Jerry Dick, I'm not finna play LeBron 30 minutes up to like January, like more than 30 minutes. There is no way. Like, I mean, okay, you're fighting for the seeding, but there's no way. I'm waiting to keep him for the big moments, like the big games, especially, and like when the actual time to win comes. But um, back on the Eastern Conference, I hope it goes well, and I know it will go well because it's still
It will. It will.
NBA.
As long as they stay healthy. As
Anyone can
long
beat
as they
anyone.
stay healthy.
The main factor is can all the teams stay healthy, or even if they can't, can they figure out systems that can that can stay solid even when the big players are injured. Yeah.
Mm.
So hopefully,
I mean, you're absolutely right. Health and just being able to have a system around that can always keep the state of the offense flowing and maybe the defense to say the least. And really, Boston is great, but as great as it is, I think there are teams to look out for, right? Obviously, Porter's going to 7 6s, and then you have Terry Rozier in Miami that we never sleep on and they're
yeah,
exporting. But then at the same time, you're looking at a Pacers that has tested the test of success, that they're wanting more of it. And then you have New York Knicks additions, which I don't like, by the way, but whatever. And then you look on the other side, you're like, oh, this young Orlando Magic is help for the smoke, right? So all these things will be the factors that will make it more spicy and
you know,
maybe you look at Milwaukee and we're trying to prove everybody that he can actually do something with Giannis. But moving
yeah.
forward, really, the Western Conference, as we always used to, always stacked. You don't know who is gonna come out of it, regardless of how good. Usually most of the time that we see a
I
team
mean,
come out, health
I
is
mean,
always a good factor for for the
Yeah,
West. Otherwise, the talent is just too much.
yeah. I mean, Western Conference is good. I mean, every team has injuries, and that should not be an excuse to why you have not reached the postseason. But Western Conference, they have a way of not having a lot of like major impact injuries on their teams for some reason. Like I have barely seen like players like out for a very long time in the West, and that's why West is always competitive, not just because of the talent in the West, but you see the whole All Star when the All Star like break, like when it comes time for All Star break, the players like like half of them like can be like from like Western Conference or like more than half. But Western Conference is definitely gonna be exciting. But on the Pacers, I think Pacers is gonna have a Lakers season this year, sort of like a very successful season, like how we reached the conference finals
Yeah.
against Denver. And then that's how Pacers also lost to Boston. And I think they will lose in the first round this year again, Pacers. But they had a successful season. And also the Lakers lost in the first round. So I think that's the season Pacers will have again. Yeah, judging on the statistics, obviously, but anything can happen. They can win the NBA finals as well. It's just the percentages are different for each team, or the
Yeah.
odds, as ESPN bet says. But Western is definitely said to be a banger, especially now. Basketball is improving every day, day in, day out. New picks are coming in, first round picks from college, Dalton Connect as well. Like players are coming in and teams are getting better. Trades happen. I just didn't like trades, bro. If I come and rant about how Lakers hasn't impressed me in the postseason, in the what's it called? Um,
Preseason.
no, forget about preseason. Like the time after the postseason and preseason, that time, like the break, that whole break period in the
Okay.
summer, like that break, it's done nothing, bro. But anyways, we hope we'll be fine with in JJ we trust. I told you guys, in JJ we trust. But
Look, it's always tough with the West. I get it. Right now in the preseason, you have the Warriors leading the charts, 4 wins, 0 losses. Memphis right behind them, and
mm,
Utah. But
Memphis, we forgot
sorry.
about me. Memphis is also around now. It's coming
You
back.
know, that's why I said like the
Yeah,
West is really so much into every team looks better, right? And I'm gonna
yeah.
read you this team, right? You have Denver, you have Dallas, you have Minnesota, you have
You see,
Phoenix, the big three, you have Oklahoma City, you have the Warriors,
Minnesota.
Memphis, and then you have I don't want to put in Clippers and New Orleans, but I'll have to. So technically, the only teams that you're looking at to be the bottom of the league is uh,
Rockets,
Portland Trailblazers and
Rockets,
probably San Antonio Spurs a little bit, Utah Jazz, and then the
yeah,
Rockets, right?
and the Rockets. Yeah,
The rest of the team in the West are
we'll have to fight.
incredibly packed that you can't really
Yeah,
tell who's gonna come out of it. But
yeah.
again, we still have Minnesota and Dallas, who were the Western Conference Finals matchups. So we
Make it
need to
us.
look at those, right? And then the Thunder coming up, and then you add on JJ Redick to the Lakers, and then the big three in Phoenix. We're looking at how would they work, and then you go down the list. Um, Denver Nuggets with the Russell Westbrook, although I don't think he will do much of it. And then LA Clippers without Paul George, right? All these things come into play. But I want to ask you a question real quick on this one, right? Do you think Minnesota is the better team in the West?
Yeah, yeah. I
Because
think I think
I get it. Like there's the big three and all that. But they
Minnesota.
look so good.
You mean between Minnesota and Dallas, or Minnesota and every other team?
Every other team.
Yeah, I get it. Dallas beat Minnesota, but actually, as I said, Dallas, no, hell no, Dallas, no, no, no,
You go with
Dallas.
the help for this one, man.
So Mavericks, no, bro, no, bro. Minnesota is better. So Mavericks beat the Wolves last year
Yeah.
and reached the finals, but nah, but again, you can also question the loss of cards of Carl Anthony Towns. Um, but for now, I still think Anthony Edwards is carrying that team like so much. Like, but they were
I
obviously,
think they did such a great job to like remove
yeah,
Kurt
obviously, the way he has
because
been looking. Anthony Reyes has been balling in the preseason, bro. If he plays like that, he'll even get like the MVP of the season.
Oh,
So he's carrying the team. I hope.
I think he's going for the MVP this year. I think
Yeah,
Anthony Edwards is going for the
that's
MVP
a good
this year.
shout out to a good prediction to have. Like it's certainly a good call out. Minnesota is looking good. But obviously if they're to look good again, they'll have to have Rudy Gobert play like an all defensive player of the year again, or like the DPOY again, Nasrid as well, and all these other guys. Nakil Alexander Walker will obviously have to play the same way they played last season, or better as well.
Dante
But
DiVincenzo and then Julius Randle coming in.
yeah, I would do this round as well. So it's a good shout. I think they're the best for now. Not because they're the best by far, but because no other team has yet reached their level yet, apart
Yeah.
from Mavericks, who are not who have lost their level now. So it's like this.
I think the reason why Mavs beat the Wolves is that Denver took the series to seven, so the fatigue was such a big factor.
Yeah,
With it. But
never
now
take.
I think the Mavs have really, really lost much of their defense presence. So I don't really think they're the same team as they were
And they have
last
Klay
year.
Thompson. Nah.
So I'm not gonna talk about anything about Clay Thompson. He's a Hall of Fame. He's a Warrior forever. So I'm gonna keep that. But the other thing is with with Lakers adding Dalton Connect, right? And not much of retooling the roster. Do you think they're up for a good season like But I mean, of course, it's LeBron
Yeah,
and AD, so you always have a
a
chance.
team like Lakers, the expectation is always to win an NBA championship for teams like Lakers, because that's the history, that's the expectation before the season. But I think they'll spare. This season will be like the first season for DJ Redick with a new squad, a brand new squad. So it will be like sort of an excuse season if he doesn't win the championship.
Yeah.
Because you can't just come from being number 10 in the league all of a sudden to winning the championship. It doesn't work like that. You build momentum. You saw with the Celtics. Celtics had to first lose to Warriors to get the experience, You keep on building that, consistency. You are in and around the number 1 to number 6 position. You don't just come from playing to win the championship just like that. Unless if you're like
I mean, unless you're the Warriors in
yeah,
2022.
unless the Warriors, as I was about to say, unless the Warriors, or unless like you had like a lot of injuries in that year. But obviously, this is the year which is going to bring me to my point, like sort of like an excuse by year for JJ Redick. As long as he plays, gets more wins than Davin Ham, then he's good. For us, he's good. Obviously, he has to reach the playoffs. Teams like Lakers, Warriors, Suns, you obviously have to reach the playoffs. For you to be judged, you cannot miss the playoffs and then think you had a good season. No, 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 that's important. You can't believe that. I'm going to tell you what the Warriors had a very bad season because they didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
But I think Lakers, I think we'll have more than 47 wins certainly. But next year now we are asking JJ Redick, what are you gonna do? Which brings me to my point of the Phoenix Suns you talked about there. The coach and the Frank Vogel is under pressure now because he has the players now. He's had like the 3 big stars for 1 full year, so he doesn't have an excuse anymore, for not winning something this year. So he has to do something with KD and Booker because they don't seem to be fluid. They don't seem to like know each other whenever they're playing against a very good team. They seem
I
to
mean,
just take.
I agree. I agree with that. I think they did a great job bringing in a true point guard in Tyus Jones.
Oh,
Yeah, so
but it's that.
it's gonna be a little different because now and then you have Isaiah Thomas coming off the bench. I don't know whether they're still gonna sign him on a 2-way on a 10-day contract,
But
but
they won't start though.
Tyus
Taya, so
Jones is gonna be a starter definitely.
what about Bradley Beal?
So you slide Bradley on the 2, and then Booker on the 3, and then KD on the 4, and then you can always play another big on the 5, right?
Booker,
Because
Booker will become a small forward instead of a shooting guard.
yeah, he's 6'4", 6'6".
But that's limiting his shots, man. When all his touches on the ball, won't that be like affect him?
No,
But
no, no. So usually when they do these things, it's just to get the space, right? It's not really like, okay. Like if you think about it, Malcolm, it's possessionless. Like these
yeah,
are just titles we put on. When it
like
comes to the
like
court, you see Booker coming down with the ball like a
yeah.
point guard.
It's like LeBron has like the most ball touches, man.
You
Yet
know,
he's
so
not
he's like the point guard, right? So it
yeah
really doesn't matter. It's just more
the
the
positions.
paper stuff.
Yeah. But Bradley Beal to come off the bench is crazy because the guy is paid a lot
No,
of
he's not
money.
coming off the bench. Or I think usually when they do to like keep his reputation is they will play him the first 3 minutes, right? Sit him, he will keep the
Especially-
starting position, and then he's gonna come in with the second unit when the first unit goes out, right? And then anchor those, and that way he can even be like a no start because he kept the
Yeah,
starting five and then he's scoring off the bench.
yeah, because Bradley was very good. We hope he can get back to that level before. But generally, we hope every player can get back to the way before. But Phoenix is certainly gonna be under pressure. Oh, it makes things interesting for the West because the West itself feels like a championship. Like the problem is that not always the winners of the West are the winners of the NBA championship because
Yeah,
even if it's like it's not fair to come through the West and like again lose to a team from the East because you've beaten all the Western good teams, and then it comes to a team like Miami and you lose to them, so it's heartbreaking. But the West certainly it feels like you are competing for championship itself. Just coming out of the West is like a
yeah,
big thing.
it is really tough. Like if I'm the Warriors, right? I come out of the Western Conference and I don't win the chip this year, I say I've won the season. Literally won it, right?
Yeah,
There is nothing to worry
yeah.
about.
The
Yeah,
West, the
but
West
but
is really like
let's
the
talk a
cream de
little
la
bit
creme.
about the Sacramento man. They've got
What?
them under Rosen. Do you think it is a good upgrade that will get them over the hump, probably to the third seed, fourth?
Yeah. So this guy is Sacramento had a very good season last year, but won when they played.
Yeah,
Ooh, when they were lights out in the home arena, when they were lighting the beam, when they reached the playoffs, they were very good. But this year they had like injuries to Malik Monk. But they certainly still have the good players. Don't sleep against these guys. Like Keegan Murray can likes shooting.
Keegan Murray.
And then also Domantas will be back. But yeah, Rose DeRozan is like that one piece. I actually want the Lakers to sign him, bro. What the hell are we doing, bro?
I
Man,
don't think DeRozan would have flourished in the
only
Lakers.
scoring 0 points per game, bro. What? But but yeah, DeRozan is actually a good player. The thing about Sacramento is that they rely on rotations a lot, and if they don't have a bench, they can't go anywhere, and that's why they struggled last year. But this year, hey, bro, this team is gonna be stuck. I even forgot about like the Memphis, bro. Like I forgot about Jamorant. Like Ja exists,
It's
guys.
crazy,
It's
but
like
at the same time, I think Ja and will give them the benefit of the doubt for this year. You know, just after a heartbreaking
yeah,
season, they might need
yeah.
a year to fix the chemistry. But I'm counting them to be at least in the playing. That's gonna be a success for them this season. But real
But
quick,
but
before
but
we
but
get
but wait, before you move on, if you think Memphis will be in the top 10, who do you think will not be in the top 10 from last year?
who do I think will not be in the top 10 from last year that was in top 10?
Yeah, if you think Memphis will be in the top 10,
Ah, man,
I might know my answer. What about you?
if you if because I'm trying to see, okay, give me your top 10, then that way we can talk. Because I
Okay,
feel
it's not like I don't know who will win obviously because I'm not a foreteller or professor,
okay,
but like in no random order, Lakers, Minnesota, Dallas, OKC, Denver, Phoenix, also Pelicans. Who else did we have? Sacramento. Who else did we have last year? Which other two? Um, no, these are just the people who were there last year.
yeah.
Yeah, are those the only teams that are there?
There
Yeah.
was definitely more. The
So
Warriors
yeah,
were there.
but yeah, those are guys. They'll be around their top 10 again, but I don't think Warriors will make top 10. I stick to my point. I think Warriors will be 11. I think.
If we made top 10 with Clay, don't you think we'll make top 10 without Clay again?
Okay, Warriors is better without Clay. I'll admit, bro.
Look, I've been really such a very big fan with the Warriors, right? I knew last year we weren't going anywhere as early as December, right?
Yeah,
Just
because of the whole Draymond Green thing. But I hope
yeah,
Draymond can.
the suspensions were just too much, you know. But
Yeah,
this year, I seen something that many people are not talking about. It is the coaching stuff, right? Jerry Waste. Wow, sorry, my bad. That's not the name I was looking for.
Jerry West retired.
I'm so sorry. That's not the name I was. God rest his peace, his soul. But the new additions, the two coaches, I'm forgetting their names. The first one I call him the defensive guy, the other one the offensive guy, and Steve Kerr is just the head coach. The other two are doing the job. But those two coaches, he was the one who took the Damian Lillard, Portland Blazers to the playoffs for I think six straight seasons, right? And he is more offense minded. When you bring him in, I'm imagining uh, a more offense that a different offense from what we've been having because obviously we don't have Clay. And then the other guy is pure defense, just like Mike Brown that we lost, which is I think is the reason why the Warriors are how they are. The moment Mike Brown went, everything went downhill. So I think the coaching staff they added is what's incredible, right? I know we still have the same players much better, but I have seen an offense that actually helps the players to be productive instead of
Yeah,
giving
but
10 minutes
remember
to play.
remember last year how we talked about like sort of like the meme about how like Giannis has Dame, LeBron has AD, or Steph has nobody. Like last year Steph had no one, like no one. So
Yeah.
we look to find out like Steph was
I
alone,
mean,
bro.
the only next person that we were always waiting for was Andrew Wiggins, but he was never there. I think
Will he be
that was
back?
also a
Will he be
problem
back?
last year.
Will he be back?
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
this
He's back. He got sick right in training camp, but I watched the ESPN and they said he's scrimmaging again.
yeah, I think with Andrew, bro, he's always having family problems every day.
Yeah, but you know
What's
those are
going on?
things that you cannot really control. So I
Yeah,
think
but does every player have family problems every single week? For him, he's always
exactly
having a
that's why he's one.
what?
He's the only one. It's rare to
Alright.
have that.
So and this, I think, for him, like you know, those people who like need mental health and physical health. Most like athletic, okay, not most, but like for him, he has like a big part of what defines him is his mental health. So if a small problem, like let's say a kid gave birth, will be in his mind the whole series, like the whole game, like he won't play well.
I
So
don't
it's
think
like
he's had three kids, so technically the kid wouldn't. I think he
no,
had a much
that
bigger
is simple.
problem losing his dad, um,
Okay, that's fair.
and then losing, I think, his grandfather. I think, yeah. So that was tragic. You can really understand that
Yeah,
feeling.
but I
And
mean,
then
even like before all that, like normally, like it feels like every week I don't see Andrew is being rolled out because of this. Wiggins is
yeah,
rolled out
but
because
then
of
there
this.
was COVID,
Rolled out.
and then there was sickness, right? And then we got to see him like later in the season. But that's for last year. This year he came in. You know, everybody has praised Andrew Wiggins for his athleticism and stamina, and they say that those things were present in this season. Otherwise, he is 6'10". He was the number one pick. He's still a good player at his
Yeah,
peak. So really, people aren't really worried about him. But I think what I liked about the Warriors was the coaching staff and the new way of doing things. I
I'll, t-
feel like Steve Kerr has learned so much from
I'll
the
tell you one
Team
thing I liked about
USA.
Warriors. I'll tell you one thing.
Sorry?
I'll tell you one thing I like about the Warriors this year. It's guess Bodo.
You said what?
Yeah, bro. Like Warriors is better without Clay. Like definitely,
I think now they've been shooting
bro.
threes like they have always done. I think they have a whole different approach on how
See,
they're going to play this year.
don't get me wrong. Clay is a very good 3-point shooter. Oh, very good player. But he ain't clutch.
Again, Malcolm is frozen. I hope he's back in.
Wait, are you there?
Yes, I am, but you had gone a little bit. I
Clay
don't know
will
what
shoot.
is the USA network doing, but whatever.
Clay will shoot 10 threes in the first three quarters. That is 30 points from threes. But he'll be 0 for 15 in the fourth quarter, which is atrocious.
I
Like,
think
man.
I think he's been living in the past, right? We all know the past Clay, we all know young Clay, right? But I think he needs to understand that
He needs the
as
reality
he
that he's not there
grows
anymore.
older, he needs to go through. everything everybody has gone through. Find other
Yeah.
ways to be efficient instead of the three.
I mean, you saw even Steve Kerr putting him on the bench. I mean, he was just like, you're not that guy anymore, and you have to accept the reality. It's just a reality. You get old. Like the body gives up at the end. That brings me to my point of LeBron. Like LeBron said last year, it's AD's team. Still feels like it's very much LeBron's team, bro. AD, bro. Like the games that would hurt
But let me
most.
ask you a question, Malcolm. Right?
Oh,
I think the reason why I think LeBron left the team to AD, but AD, I feel like he's just not enough for it. You know,
AD is not ready. I feel like he's not ready for it.
it's like most of the time he's just like, okay, yeah, yeah, I'm hot, give it to me, sure, 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 I'm cooling
Yeah,
down.
bro.
Here, LeBron, go, go,
The
right?
best
So
example of this was against Denver in the playoffs.
yeah,
Remember when AD played? He played so well in always the first three quarters. So well. I mean, he would even drop like 40 points in three quarters, and then in the fourth quarter he would barely get the ball. Barely, like you'd have like one shot the whole fourth quarter, and yet he's shooting like at least 15 shots in every quarter. Like, and then LeBron is shooting like 20 shots. Like, and you're like, who's really the owner of this team? I thought Braun said he's passing on the keys to AD. So this year I'm looking to see if AD actually really has the keys. You know, I don't want to say LeBron should come off the bench because that would be a ridiculous take. But I need to see Eddie to lead this team. Like LeBron, bro, it's time for you to call it quits. Like you don't have to retire, but you don't have to be our number one guy anymore. Like it's fine.
I
Eddie
mean,
can
I
Eddie.
feel like I feel like LeBron will always be carrying your team just because of his ability to see the flow. It's different
Yeah,
from
yeah, yeah.
LeBron
The ability
and
to
his
pass.
experience. But
He's
at the
become a
same
very
time,
good passer.
he needs to understand that age is catching up a little bit, and
Yeah, the
running
edge.
the run for 82 games plus the postseason is tough.
Yeah, I mean, you saw like you've seen like even like Draymond Green also like the legs are getting slower these days. The blocks are not that many as those days. Generally, the body it gives up, man. Like
Yeah,
you have
but
to.
that's the thing. Like Draymond understands that thing. Yeah, he
Yeah,
understands. Like sometimes he will. I think last year he will go in transition, right, and his style of running around Steph and giving him handoffs and screaming and all that, and it will just be like, JK, go down there, go in the post, right? Let us rest a little bit. Let us just sit here and let you go to work. And if we need a kick out, you do, right? So it's understanding those times or him coming up and say, look, Looney is going to start because, right, this is not my matchup. I can't keep up anymore, right? So that's the understanding you need from LeBron and say, AD, I can't do this anymore. Here, right? And that's the confidence AD
yeah.
needs to kind of go for it forever.
I also feel like Lakers are two players away. Two, just two. One backup big man or one actual center and Eddie plays power forward.
Yeah.
And then also like another solid good role player like a Donovan Mitchell or like a DeMar DeRozan or like a solid other player. We can't just have LeBron and AD. We need like this big three, you know.
I am not gonna lie to you. I feel like Gabe Vincent might actually be something for you guys this year.
Yeah, well, yeah, Gabe has played during the preseason
Not
because
only
last year
that,
I was
me,
criticizing.
my thing was all about I need to see how does LeBron use him, right? And I've seen so much, much, much better things
Yeah,
this
it is.
preseason.
It looked good this preseason, but if he plays what he was doing last year, I swear to
Yeah,
God,
but
forget him
last year
out.
he was hurt. He was just coming off of an injury. He hadn't played in like
But even when he
7
was in the, nah, you like using that excuse, bro. When you're throwing the ball, are you hurt? Why do you throw the ball 20 times and miss all of them if you're not hurt? If you're hurt,
it's a reason thing. It's a reason thing. But
how do you
anyways,
people? Nah, get
enough of
business.
the Lakers and the Warriors.
You need to step up.
Lastly, the last point we're gonna make here is, what do you think about Chris Paul and the Spurs?
That's a good shout out. They'll definitely been playing. I don't know if they'll definitely be, but they're fighting for playing because fighting for top six in the West is like a big thing. But they'll be fighting for the playing spots, so they can pass through the play into the playoffs. But Chris Paul and Victor are going to be a good. You know
Combo.
what? I don't want to judge them before I watch them, and I'm waiting to see like what happens in an actual game, especially in the tight games. Like five, they call them clutch games, like clutch time. 5 minutes under, 5 minutes separating them. less than 5 points. So I'm waiting to see like those lobes, like those easy lobes to Wemby. But it will definitely be a good shout out. I just hope like Wemby's past team last year, like they'll not like literally Wemby can you can love the ball for Wemby anywhere, but they don't do it for him. I just hope Chris Paul can do it a lot,
I mean, I've
and
watched
Chris
I've
Paul
watched
can,
a bunch. I've watched a bunch of preseason games,
yeah,
and boy, do they look so good together.
they look good.
You know,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
literally, because Chris Paul has been around the league for like I don't know
yeah,
months, right?
like
So there was this play. Wemby is like surrounded by like I think four guys,
mm,
right? And if it was the other young guys, they wouldn't throw him the ball because they're like worried about the turnovers and everything. Chris Paul, Wemby was like this. Literally, Chris Paul just threw it right here. And Wemby didn't need to like catch and dunk. No, literally bent his hands, bounced on his hand and inside, right? So it's the little things like that. And there was a lob, like the most vicious lob I think Wendy has ever received, right? So I think that would be really good. I think the only thing they look at right now is David Vassell, of course, is hurt. So he's going to be out for a couple games in the season, who is like the second
the
best
pitch,
player after Wendy.
yeah,
But I think the only thing that would get them over the hump would be can they find an offense system, right? Can
yeah,
they find a system that can help them thrive? Because what I saw during the games was they were just, Chris Paul just do his thing. Let him organize the offense a little bit. But they tried a couple things. Can we put that ball in the Chris Paul's hands, or should we put the ball in Vic's hand and play off of him like they used to do with Tim Duncan and the Manus and all that, right? So I think it's the system, and if they can have such a good system that allow them to move the ball around and get Vic, all those slopes and everything, all they will be remaining with will be health. And the other thing, we're looking at them at least eighth seed, ninth seed.
yeah, certainly. Chris Paul reminds me of like the Chris Paul 2020.
Lob City, you're talking about?
What?
You're talking about Lob City?
Who's that?
Oh, you don't know Lob City? DeAndre Jordan, Blake Griffin, Chris Paul.
I don't know. I was saying Chris Paul reminds me of him and like that season when Phoenix reached like the finals
Ah, okay, 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 okay.
against the Bucks 2021. Yeah, I hope he can be that, but he can't be that Chris Paul because obviously he's older now. But run it back, like the good thing about Luca, like when like a certain like tactic is working, he'll run it back and run it back and run it back until like the team figures out what is happening. But the NBA has like they tend to do like they make like a move and then the next play is like a different play from the first move, which is like why don't you run back the same play to see the team has now coped up with what you're doing the defending team. Luca will keep on running a lob to Gafford until you guys fix that.
Yeah.
So that's the thing about Luca, and he's very good at his lobs. So if Chris Paul can time his lobs for Wemby, especially in clutch time, I'm so curious on how these guys can do in clutch time because they are a team that reaches clutch time a lot. So if they can run it back, two free points, pass Wemby, and that's it.
I
But
think
yeah,
I think I think when it comes to clutch, I think one thing that will help them is Wemby will have to learn how to be patient. I think that's one thing that has really bothered
he can
him.
shoot though. He can shoot
I
from
know,
three.
but like patience and balance will be such a great value for him because now you give him the ball and he's thinking about the time and his all these things and he ends up causing a turnover. But if he can stay on balance and also be patient because he's that tall, he can do whatever he wants. Everything else will go well. But before we get out of here, do you have anything else to say?
No, sir. I just want to say, guys, NBA starts next Tuesday. You don't want to miss. Lakers will be playing Timberwolves at Crypto.com Arena. And
Let's go. It's gonna be
I am
heated.
going to LA this December. So I'm going for an NFL game. Unfortunately, the Lakers tickets are very expensive. So if you guys don't mind sending me a GoFundMe,
Hey,
and then I go to a Lakers game, and then I analyze for you what I watched in person. I don't mind that, but I hope to be there, and I hope to raise the money to watch Lakers in person again. So yeah, but that's it for me.
Anyways, I can't wait for. We will definitely do a GoFund for the game today host to go watch a couple NBA games, and probably somebody will do something about it. But anyways, it's a wrap from this side. I am your host Giraneza by Claret. He is my co-host Malcolm, and peace out.
Good night for me. Bye.
All right, see ya, people.